Hello music fans, I'm back again with Monty the Cat, and I'm here to talk about my top 10 favorite metal, rock, and progressive albums released in January 2023. It's a mix of styles on here. I've got one black metal album, two doom metal albums, one post-hardcore album, one power metal album, and then the remaining five are my favorite genres, which are progressive metal and progressive rock. So let's jump right in with number 10, which is released January 10th, and it's by a band called Thy Darkened Shade, and the album's called Liber, Lvcifer 2, Mahapralaya, and this is black metal, but it's got some progressive influences to it. It's the third album by this Greek band. It's pretty satanic sounding, and I typically find satanic black metal music a bit corny. This one has some of those corny vibes, but the music is pretty epic and a little bit progressive, so I found it a fun listen even if I won't return to it too much. I should say I listened to 20 albums this month, so this is just the top half of what I listened to here. My number 9 is by the band Tribunal, and it was released January 20th, and it's called The Weight of Remembrance, and this is gothic doom metal. It's the debut album by this Canadian doom duo. It has female clean vocals delivered by Soren Moorn, who also plays bass and cello. There's male harsh vocals by Etienne Flynn, who plays guitar. They've got some real drums played on the album too, but I believe it's by someone who's not an official member. The songs are very slow and doomy, and the riffs are reminiscent of Black Sabbath's doomier songs. My favorite track is A World Beyond Shadows. Number 8 is another one in the doom category, is Ahab, and they released this on January 13th, and it's called Coral Tombs, and this is funeral doom metal. It's got some progressive influences. It's the 5th album by this German band, but their first in almost 8 years. The vocals sound intense, heavy, and brutal as hell when they do growls and screams. Some parts almost sound like the frog croaking, but they are beautiful and sad during the clean singing parts. When I started listening to this, I expected slow and sad music that takes you on a journey, and that's exactly what I got, so I was happy with what I heard. Not blown away or anything, but pretty solid. Number 7 is by the band Frostbitt. They released their album called Machine Destroy on January 6th. This is progressive metal with the gent style, and it's the 4th album by this Norwegian band. If you're a fan of bands like Meshuggah and Car Bomb, you'll like this. Check out the track Machine Destroy to get a bit of a preview for the album. Number 6 is by the band Polar, and it's called Everywhere Everything, released January 13th. This is post-hardcore, I guess, with some progressive metal influences. It's the 5th album by this UK band. I had never listened to anything by them before, but I heard this, and this is pretty well done. Number 5 is by Great Wide Nothing, and it's called Hymns for Hungry Spirits, Volume 2, released January 20th. This is progressive rock. It's the 3rd album by this American band. It's a solid prog rock album. It ends with a great 20-minute epic song. Big thanks to Notes Reviews for making me aware of this one. Check out that YouTube channel for some other great prog rock album recommendations. Number 4, I have Twilight Force with At the Heart of Wintervale, released January 20th. This is symphonic power metal. It's the 4th album by the Swedish band. If you're a fan of bands like Dragon Force, Hammerfall, Blind Guardian, you'll like this. There's epic soaring vocals, fantasy-based lyrical themes, intense guitar solos with some neoclassical flair. My favorite track is The Last Crystal Bearer, which is the 10-minute album closer that has a lot of symphonic elements reminiscent of Symphony X. And I think this band picked up the power metal torch from Dragon Force, because I think this is even better than the last Dragon Force album. And even though I'm not the biggest power metal fan, this is probably my second favorite power metal album of the decade so far, after Sacred Oath's Return of the Dragon from 2021. And I've probably listened to about 20 or so power metal albums this decade, so I know I'm not the biggest expert, but I enjoyed this one. Number 3 is Katatonia with Sky Void of Stars, released January 20th. This is progressive metal with doom metal and alternative rock influences. It's the 12th album by this Swedish band. This was in my top 5 most anticipated albums of the first quarter of 2023. I don't think they have any bad albums in their discography, but I particularly love the last 6 albums in a row that they've done, because lately they've been getting more progressive and have nearly completely abandoned their early career death doom and black metal influences. So this is probably my 4th favorite album from Katatonia, I think. It's at least definitely in my top 6. And they really upped their lead guitar game and their guitar solos. They sound a lot more impressive technically on this than on previous albums. But otherwise, if you like the last 5 Katatonia albums, I think you'll like this. That's the biggest difference I noticed. And number 2 is Riverside with ID.Entity, released January 20th. This is progressive rock. There's a little sprinkling of metal in there. It's the 8th album by this Polish band. I enjoyed the single I'm Done With You and the single Friend or Foe dropped, and then that one had a strong 80s feel to it, which I thought was a little strange. Some people might find that song cheesy and might not like it. And that song kind of opens up the album, so just a warning, the whole album does not sound like that, which I'm glad it doesn't. Even though I do like the song, I just wouldn't want to hear a whole album in that style. The song sounds kind of like Ahab, but other parts of the album sound like Rush. They have parts that alternate between reggae and prog rock like Rush does. And I suggest this album as well for fans of Leprous, Sowen, Haken, and Porcupine Tree, because it's like almost on the progressive metal side like those bands, but no screaming or anything too grating or jarring. It's just a really strong contender for my year-end top 40 list. And then lastly, my number 1 album of January is by The World Is Quiet Here, and it's called Zon, released January 7th. This is progressive death metal. It's the 2nd album by this American band. Big thanks to Rhyme Signature's YouTube channel for making me aware of this. I had not heard their first album yet, but if you're a fan of bands like Between the Buried and Me and Others by No One, you'll like this. It features some great guest appearances as well from Ki Po Hawk, who toured with Native Construct and also played an amazing guest guitar solo on one of my songs called Pure Riffery, so check that out. And also features a guest appearance by Max Mowbray from Others by No One, which is a great band that I really enjoy. So this album was just great. I never heard of this band before, but I'm pleasantly surprised I stumbled upon it. I'll be picking this one up in physical format for sure, and I'm a really big Between the Buried and Me fan, so this really scratched that itch. That's it for my top 10 albums of January 2023. Hope you found something in here that you'll enjoy. Let me know if you think of something that I might have missed that I should check out. And until next time, peace out.